Hi everyone, Katie Sutton here, intuitive channel and founder of Zen Within Academy and the New Earth Now School with your October energy update. So I promise I will get into the energy update, but I have to talk about some things first. And if you are following me and you are somebody who watches my videos, please watch this one. Please watch it to the end. Please don't turn away. Please listen. This is probably going to be one of my more vulnerable and authentic videos that I will ever do on this channel. I promised myself I wasn't going to cry. I will pull it together. What we are experiencing in this region here in North Carolina, especially in Western North Carolina, is an unprecedented devastation. And some of you maybe have seen a little bit of it on the news. I realize that it's really hard for people to get into the region right now because literal roads are just gone. And so most of you that are not here don't know what's going on. And I could tout a million conspiracy theories as to why that's happening. I don't actually give a crap about any of that. I just want you all to know what's really going on here. We had a devastating amount. I'm talking 2 to 3 feet of rain in some regions in the mountains of North Carolina before and during Hurricane Helene. And this is a region that, yes, sometimes there are floods, but the majority of the people who have been most impacted by this have never seen a flood because they live in a zone that says that it might flood every 1,000 years. So this is a once in a 1,000-year type experience. And these are people that live several thousand feet above sea level. And none of this is really being explained on the news. And I think that's why people don't have a concept of what's really going on. There are thousands of people that are dead. There are so many things that are happening where there are people that don't have power, that have lost their homes, that don't have water, don't have food, that are stranded on tops of mountains. There are so many really awful things about this experience. But what I also want you to hear is that because things in the government take some time, and please don't make this a political post because this isn't about politics, but because things in government take time and they're trying to create change in a mass level and organize, and it takes a long time for that to happen, the people who are saving people on the ground right now are locals. They are community members that exist outside of this region that are sending supplies in. There are people airlifting supplies in. There are people hiking supplies in. There are people taking mules with supplies to people because roads are washed out. It is a community-based effort that is happening that is saving people's lives in this region. And I need people outside of North Carolina to know what's happening. I need people that are following me from around the world to donate. I need people to help. And I know that there are so many things that you could look at and want to support, and I get that. This is personal to me. I grew up in this region. These are people that are my friends and my family that are suffering, that are also trying to help the people that are there that aren't suffering as much as them. The level of connection and unconditional love that I am seeing from people in this region is unprecedented, and I already knew that they had a big heart and that they were doing a lot with little, and they were always ignored, oftentimes by the world. And I am saddened to see that is continuing to happen, but I also am seeing that they are stepping into a level of connection with one another and supporting one another that will change them forever at a visceral level. And I can see how this is serving in some way in our human collective evolution. And so we have 2 events this weekend. One is an in-person event in the Huntersville, Charlotte area that is an ecstatic dance and somatic movement event that you can attend, you can donate to, you can bring actual supply donations. I will post the link below this video. And the second is one that I really want all of you that are listening, that are able to make the time to please sign up for and attend. Even if you can't donate money, please bring some energy and some time to this event on Sunday. From 7 to 8 p.m. we're going to be doing a healing ceremony to bring healing to the region, to lift the people up there, and support those who have been who have crossed over, who have died in this experience, and actually help them to complete their transition. This is something that I do quite a lot when there are catastrophes. I'm called to do this work, and it's easier for me to do it with a group of people than doing it by myself, which is what I've been doing pretty much every night since this happened. And I need your help. I need you all to show up. If you love my content, if you love what I put out to the world, I need you to show up for me. If you appreciate what I do, I need you to show up. So there are ways that you can support. There's also an Amazon wish list for an organization that is doing private, I did say that, private plane trips in with supplies. There are, I think, something like 100 and some flights going out every day from the Statesville airport, with flights and supplies going directly to the most rural, hard to reach areas. And that's what we are choosing to support. We have people driving supplies in. I've already taken money from the first round of donations of people that have already signed up for Sunday. I think we collected something like $1,300 already. I've already done one trip to the stores to get supplies. They're going back with friends today. Actually, I'll be dropping those off and going right to the region that is most in need. So I need help. I need y'all to show up. Even if it's just your time, if you can't donate, I get that. Please show up for the event on Sunday. I'll post that below this video. Okay? So that is my authentic plea for the place that I grew up. I love these people so much, and I just want to help. And I know that there are people all over the world suffering. I know that this is not something new. A lot of people need help, but this is an unprecedented level of devastation. Whole towns are wiped out. Places that I visited as a kid are just gone. And I don't know if they're going to be able to rebuild. And so this is going to be a long process, and we're going to need you to not look away anytime soon. We're going to need support in the future. Josh and I are working on plans to support locals longer term, so stay tuned for that. Okay? Thanks for watching this part. So let's go on to the energy update, because I still have a job to do. I still have things that I need to do to support you all as a collective and show up for you. And that's what I came here to do. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay? So I've got 4 themes that I want to talk with you about this month. And I also just want to mention, as I go into this energy update, that today, I'm recording this on October 2nd at I think something like 2:30 p.m. Eastern, somewhere around there. Maybe it's a little later than that. We have a solar eclipse. We have the ending of an eclipse portal. And I knew this eclipse portal was going to trigger a lot of things and be really difficult. I wasn't expecting what happened in terms of this natural disaster in my region to be so significant, but I knew that there was a major shift that was going to happen to wake some things up in the collective that needed to change, and it sure is happening. And on an individual level, witnessing what I'm witnessing and seeing the devastation and hearing the actual stories of people that I love who have loved ones that are dying or have died in this event is definitely changing me and shifting my timeline and shifting me into high gear in terms of wanting to expand my reach to the world and kind of get over my fears, quite frankly, of speaking my truth and being my authentic self. So it's definitely something that I'm feeling personally, this shift that is occurring with the eclipse. And in September, we worked on closing out karmic cycles and completing cycles. And that is something that I definitely am seeing. And as we move into October, we've got 4 themes that I really want to talk with you about that are going to activate now that we've moved out of this eclipse portal. The first one is processing uncertainty and loss. And certainly those of you that have been impacted by this hurricane, I know that the impacts reach beyond Western North Carolina, that we've got people in the entire Southeast region that have been impacted. There are things going on in the Middle East. There are things going on in all kinds of places in our ports, different things happening that are creating and amplifying uncertainty and loss in the collective. And I do feel that a little bit of this is being designed to create separation, but I also know that everything that those that want us to be separate does somehow serves to bring us together. And I know that's going to be the result of this. But as we activate into October, I think that we are going to see a lot of uncertainty and a lot of loss leading up to November, when we have a very big election here in the United States. And I think that we are going to have to process sitting in the unknown and sitting in that uncertainty and sitting with the loss that is happening around us and processing those emotions so that our hearts can open, our throats can open, and we can use our voice and we can begin to vote and demand change here in the United States, but also all over the world. Wherever you are listening to this from, I think you will be impacted by this particular frequency, because what happens here in the States has a ripple effect to the entire planet. So we are going to have people trying to separate us. We are going to have people trying to create a lot of noise, trying to create a lot of fear. And my invitation to you is to not play into it. Even what I am seeing on the news and being reported that is getting spread around about what's happening in the region near me that has been devastated in Western North Carolina, they're just talking about the looting and they're talking about the worst of the worst, but 99% of the people that are there are pulling together, sharing meals, bringing strangers into their home who have lost everything. They are taking care of each other. So don't believe everything that you hear. I have people texting me every day telling me stories about how heartwarming it is to see the community pull together. That is really what is happening on this planet. Don't let the division and the separation be the story that you perpetuate in the world, because it is not our truth as a human collective anymore. We are moving out of that vibration of separation. We are moving towards unity. And so allow yourself to hold that as your truth as you move forward in this upcoming couple of months that are going to be very interesting, okay? Allow yourself to hold that truth of what is possible for humanity. Don't allow yourself to drop into the density and the fear and the separation, because you will then perpetuate that energy in the field. If you have moments of dropping into it, have a buddy, have somebody to help you pull out of it. Watch something, listen to something, do something that helps you to pull out of that vibration, okay? It is important, it is imperative that those of you that are watching this, that have been doing your spiritual work, that are empaths and light workers and light warriors, continue to shine your light in the world and continue to hold this energy of unity and connection. This is how we get through this together, okay? So that first theme of processing uncertainty and loss, I think, is going to come up in a lot of different ways. Some of you might have things happening in your individual life that you need to let go of or you need to release. Something that needs to fall away to make space for this new timeline that is anchoring post-eclipse. Do your best to let go and do your best to focus on what is expanding in your life, what is expanding in your experience. Don't lose hope, okay? The second thing that I want to just mention is that community connection. That's the second theme I want to talk about. I do think we're going to continue to see events as we move through October and into November that are going to be inviting us to connect in community more deeply. And they are there to help counteract this separating vibration that I think is coming in from the powers that be that want us to stay disempowered. Okay, so wherever you have the opportunity this month to connect, to be in community with each other, to hold that vibration of unity, please take the opportunity to be a part of that. That will feed your soul, that will feed the soul of those involved, and that will start to expand this vibration of unity that we are anchoring even in these times of chaos, even in these times of destruction, even in these times of upheaval. Okay, so that's the second theme. And you may have to work through some resistance in order to be connected in community. You might want to run and hide. You might want to hermit. You might want to separate from your community, but the invitation is to lean in this month. All right, that's my invitation to all of you. The third theme is truths revealed. Now, I am already getting some pretty extensive downloads about why this storm hit this region and some things that are happening behind the scenes to make that happen. I'm getting a lot of truths. There are some that I will share along the way, and there's some that I'm not going to share because I'm not going to add to the division on this planet. But just know that there are things, if you are open to hearing the truth, if you are open to seeing beyond the separation, beyond the stories that are in mass mainstream channels, that you can find out information and truth, and you can filter that through your own lens and your own knowing and make some conclusions, draw some conclusions, okay? I think that this is going to be happening on the global scale. I think there's going to be a lot of misinformation and a lot of truth, and we're going to have to really practice our discernment. I've been working with people for the last couple of months on getting out of fear and getting into discernment. Discernment is a good thing, right? We want to have discernment. We want to pull things through our truth meter, if you will, and try them on and see if they align with our definition and reality, our definition of reality and our truth. We want to do that. And so I think we're going to start to see more and more things continuing to come to the surface and be talked about. And here's the reality, right? Even if there are powers that be that are doing things to manipulate weather, for example, or create certain impacts in certain regions, everything that group who is trying to stay in power and do negative things, if you will, does somehow is going to continue to serve to bring us together. It's going to keep backfiring. And if you are going down the truth rabbit hole, if you will, to try to villainize or weaponize things, I invite you not to do that. If that's your why, then maybe skip this theme altogether, right? But if your why is just understanding what's really going on and not looking away so that you can have some shifts internally and you can make some different decisions about the energies that you're wanting to support, then please lean into this. I also think that Truths Revealed, this particular theme, is going to be very individual as well, in that there will be things that come to light after this solar eclipse. Eclipses bring light to the world. They bring a lot of truth to the world, a lot of information, a lot of wisdom. I think some of you are going to wake up to certain truths about your life, about your mission, about what you came here to do in relationship, in partnership, in community. I think that there are going to be some things revealed to you as individuals this month that are going to change the trajectory of your life. Okay, that's going to happen on the global scale, but it's also going to happen on the individual scale, because every bit of the things that are happening to us individually are also happening at the collective level as well, and vice versa. Okay, so this is a month to allow and work on those third eyes, work on your vision, being in your meditative space, being in your practice, being in your connection with self, so that you can get out of the noise of the collective enough to bring in the things that you need to know personally about your own life and your own mission here. Okay, that is this theme, Truths Revealed. So I think it's going to be an interesting October with this particular theme popping up. All right, so the fourth theme, and the one that we're going to be working with in our healing circle, which I have moved out a week from when it usually is. It's now going to be on the 16th, because I've got some events coming up this weekend that are really important, and I'm going to need a little break afterwards. On October 16th at 7:30 Eastern, we will be working on the theme Hopeful New Beginnings. Okay, this particular energy theme is going to be about bringing hope and bringing in the understanding that there are new beginnings happening all around us, and that any point we can choose to start again, we can choose to start anew, we can bring in this frequency and this vibration of newness. Okay, and I think that a lot of you are going to have some openings starting in October, where new things that you've been trying to maybe make happen for a long time, or visioning for a long time, are going to start to anchor and begin. Okay, and it's very easy to be excited about that and get all wrapped up in the excitement of the new beginning, and forget to focus on just our day-to-day care and the things that we need to be doing to take care of ourselves. So this is also going to be about finding balance in these new beginnings, being excited and being hopeful, and leaning into that and balancing that with really grounded action that we can take consistently. Okay, so this is really about bringing balance as we start these new beginnings between our doing energy of our masculine and our being energy of our feminine. And I'm sure there are other things that are going to pop up in this healing circle that I don't expect, because we've got a little bit of time before it happens. But the theme of hopeful new beginnings is what we're going to focus on. And so if you're needing some of that in your life, if you're needing a bit of a reset, or if you're needing this feeling of expansion to start to happen again, maybe you've been feeling a little stuck or a little stagnant. Now that we've closed out some of those big karmic cycles, we spent pretty much all of September clearing out karma. When we have cleared karma, we have open energy and we have a brand new slate. And sometimes in that energy of openness, we can get a little overwhelmed with choices. And so I think this will also be about expanding that connection to the third eye and expanding our discernment of which path do we take when we have so many choices. How do we make a decision? And how do we get out of the trap of analysis paralysis? And when we're in a state of new beginnings and we're wanting to create something new, how do we just trust ourselves and make a decision and trust that we can't ever make a wrong decision? Okay, so those are some of the themes and some of the elements that we'll be working with in the Healing Circle this month on October 16th. So lots of really important themes this month. I think it's going to be a big one. I think y'all are going to have to work really hard to stay grounded and connected to your truth. I think there's going to be a lot of chaos happening in the world around us. And you first have to help yourselves before you can help another, right? So you lean into where you can help, where you can be of support, what your capacity is. We spent a lot of time last month working on right responsibility and right capacity. I think that will continue to be a theme as we move into October as well. And that will support us in moving into these hopeful new beginnings and using our energy wisely to create the best and brightest reality for each of us as individuals. Okay? All right, thank you all so much for watching. I will put links below this video for everything that I mentioned. If none of those resonate with you, you don't want to join the Healing Circle, but you enjoy this content, please like it, please comment, and please share. That helps me to get the word out. That moves me out of this kind of stuck place in the algorithm where they like to keep some of us content creators. That helps me get my message out to the greater collective so that I can make a bigger difference in the world. Okay, thank you all so much for watching and supporting and listening. I appreciate it. Have a beautiful month ahead. Goodbye.